Welcome the spicy lady. True strength is never found in loud displays or performative confidence. It lives in what remains steady when no one is watching, praising, or paying attention. Today's topic breaks down the authentic, uncopyable traits of a spicy lady Sigma. These are not surface level mannerisms or fake personalities for clout. They are rooted in real character, built through daily private choices, quiet discipline, and intentional habits most people never notice. Unlike exaggerated, attention-seeking behavior, a spicy lady Sigma carries a calm, unshakable energy that holds steady through pressure, uncertainty, and chaos. You'll learn how emotional control, independent thinking, and self-discipline create a one-of-a-kind persona that cannot be imitated or faked. That will also unpack the mindset behind her solitude, firm boundaries, and inner stability, so you can clearly tell the difference between genuine Sigma energy and fake performative trends. Most people misunderstand these traits, labeling her distant, cold, or detached. In truth, she is simply intentional with her energy, focus, and attention. I'll break down every trait in simple, clear detail. Make sure to watch until the very end. Every point builds on the last. You won't grasp the full depth of this mindset by watching clips out of context. Now, let's begin. Point 1. She stays consistent when nobody is watching. Character is easy to fake in public. Standards are easy to uphold when you have an audience to impress, praise you, or hold you accountable. But true character is revealed in private, in the version of you that only silence witnesses. What separates ordinary people from grounded, high-value spicy lady Sigmas is simple. Your private actions define your true identity. A spicy lady Sigma never treats discipline like a stage act. She doesn't turn on her good habits for others and abandon them in solitude. Her standards are non-negotiable, built into her everyday life. No audience required. If she commits to waking up early, she does it without reminders or external pressure. If she plans to finish a task or work on her growth, she follows through even when no one is checking her progress. Her structure always comes from within, not from outside expectations. For example, anyone can post about fitness goals and healthy habits online for clout. But real character shows up on tired, lonely nights. When she's exhausted, unmotivated, and tempted to skip her routine, she still chooses discipline. Not for excitement, not for praise, but because she has already decided who she wants to be. This quiet consistency lives in the small, unseen moments, keeping promises to herself, finishing what she starts, maintaining order in her personal space, and honoring her own standards with zero witnesses. These unremarkable private choices build an incredibly steady, intentional life. Over time, her discipline shines through effortlessly. People can't pinpoint exactly why she feels different, but they feel her stability, control, and grounded energy. Here's the deeper truth. What you repeatedly do in private eventually becomes the version of you that everyone meets in public. Point 2. She lives by a personal code. Even when it costs her integrity, is easy when nothing is at stake. Anyone can talk about values, morals, and standards when life is comfortable. True character is revealed when upholding your code costs you comfort, opportunities, money, or other people's approval. A spicy lady Sigma is defined by this quiet, unshakable integrity. She never bends her core values for convenience, popularity, or quick rewards. Her decisions follow a strict personal code that she deems non-negotiable, no matter the situation. If a tempting opportunity requires her to lie, compromise her honesty, abandon her boundaries, or sacrifice her self-respect, she walks away. While others justify immoral choices with everyone does it, or just this once, she refuses to betray the identity she's building. This unwavering standard applies to every area of life, including relationships. If someone repeatedly disrespects her boundaries, manipulates her, or takes her for granted, she will walk away, even if she cares deeply for them. This is not emotional reactivity. It is emotional discipline. She accepts the consequences of her integrity without resentment. She knows losing temporary comfort, opportunities, or people is worth it to keep her self-respect intact. Anything that requires her to abandon herself is never a true gain. Over time, this trait earns her undeniable respect. People may not always agree with her choices, but they trust her consistency. They know her yes means yes, and her no means no. This quiet loyalty to herself is impossible to fake. 3. She never manufactures a fake image. Modern culture thrives on performative personas. Most people curate polished, perfect versions of themselves for social media and public view, prioritizing how they are perceived over who they actually are. But manufactured images require constant maintenance. Real identity stands entirely on its own. A spicy lady Sigma wastes zero energy, crafting a fake public image. She doesn't tailor her personality, lifestyle, or opinions to impress others or gain attention. Instead, she focuses entirely on private self-improvement, building skills, fixing bad habits, learning constantly, and growing behind the scenes. The difference between her and everyone else is night and day. Two people can post the same lifestyle online. One is staging every moment to keep up a false persona, living in constant fear of their flaws being exposed. The other is simply living authentically, making mistakes, growing quietly, and letting her real life speak for itself. She never announces every small milestone or flaunts every win for validation. When she achieves something meaningful or masters a new skill, she integrates that growth into her character instead of turning it into a public performance. This radical honesty gives her unmatched freedom. Without the pressure of maintaining a fake image, she can focus entirely on real progress. She stops living for the eyes of others and starts living for her own growth. Images fade and crumble under inconsistency, but authentic character only grows stronger over time. She doesn't need to explain or prove herself. Her steady actions and grounded energy speak volumes. Point 4. She separates privacy from secrecy. Most people mistakenly equate privacy with secrecy. They believe if someone doesn't overshare every detail of their life, they must be hiding something shameful. But a spicy lady Sigma understands a powerful truth. Not everything valuable needs to be displayed to be real. She keeps her life private not out of shame, fear, or hidden flaws, but to protect her growth. Unfinished dreams, ongoing healing, and personal journeys are fragile. Too much public attention creates unnecessary pressure, toxic opinions, and premature expectations that ruin progress. When working toward a big goal, building a new skill, or navigating a major life transition, she stays silent. She focuses on the work in private and lets her results speak for themselves once they're solid, instead of broadcasting a fragile process. The same applies to her struggles. She doesn't turn every heartbreak, failure, or stressful moment into a public spectacle. She processes pain internally first, gaining clarity before she shares anything. Some emotions require quiet reflection before they can be explained. Even with her wins, she stays grounded. She may share her joy, but she never depends on public acknowledgement to validate her success. She knows once a moment becomes public, it easily shifts from personal meaning to performative content. This habit lets her control her energy and focus. She filters out useless noise, irrelevant opinions, and unsolicited judgment. Her life is guided by her own internal direction, not outside pressure, and that's where true inner stability begins. Point 5. She walks away from tempting opportunities that violate her standards. Anyone can uphold standards when there's nothing to lose. The true test of character comes when life places something incredibly tempting in front of you. Money, status, fame, connection, or comfort. A spicy lady Sigma never measures opportunities by surface level benefits alone. She always evaluates the hidden cost. If a chance requires her to compromise her values, tolerate disrespect, stay silent about injustice, or abandon her self-respect, she will decline it, no matter how appealing it looks, while others slowly negotiate their boundaries for gain, making endless excuses to justify their compromise. She refuses to bargain with her integrity. She knows short-term benefits are never worth long-term self-betrayal. This rule extends to relationships too. If someone offers her attention, love, or affection, but only on terms that make her feel small, insecure, or unworthy, she walks away. She never clings to toxic connections out of fear of loneliness or loss. She understands that any bond that requires her to shrink herself is not real love or value. This trait is rare not because she can say no, but because her no is calm, clear, and unemotional. She doesn't react out of anger or pride. She chooses based on self-respect and self-awareness. Over time, this strict filtering shapes her entire life. Only aligned, genuine, respectful opportunities and people enter her space, creating unshakable peace, confidence, and stability that money can't buy. 6. She doesn't crave immediate recognition. We live in a culture of instant gratification. Most people measure their worth by immediate likes, comments, and validation. If their hard work goes unnoticed for even a short time, they quit, assuming their effort is worthless. A spicy Lady Sigma operates on a completely different timeline. She knows all meaningful, life-changing growth happens silently, long before anyone notices or appreciates it. She never chases quick praise or public validation. While others abandon slow, valuable processes for fast clout, she commits to consistent, unseen work. She understands that real skill, real success, and real transformation start off repetitive, boring, and invisible to the outside world. When she helps others, improves her life, or builds something meaningful, she doesn't seek immediate credit. She lets her actions create long-term impact, trusting that results will speak louder than public applause. She separates effort from recognition. Silence does not equal failure in her mind. Silence means growth is still in progress. She adjusts her pace for quality, not for likes, views, or compliments. While others burn out chasing constant validation, she builds lasting excellence. For her, recognition is never the goal. It's just a natural byproduct of consistent, high-quality work. 7. She doesn't need a villain to justify her pain. Most people cope with disappointment by blaming external forces. They create villains, unfair situations, and toxic people to explain their pain, because taking personal responsibility feels uncomfortable. While this brings temporary relief, it traps them in repeated cycles of the same mistakes. A spicy Lady Sigma practices radical emotional maturity. She doesn't search for someone to blame to make her hurt feel valid. Instead, she sits with uncomfortable truths and reflects on her own role in every outcome. If she's disappointed by someone she trusted, she doesn't only label them toxic and move on. She asks herself what signs she ignored, what assumptions she made, and what boundaries she failed to set. This doesn't excuse other people's mistakes. It frees her from repeating them. If a goal fails or a plan falls apart, she doesn't blame bad luck or unfair circumstances. She evaluates her choices, her timing, and her judgment to learn and grow stronger. This level of honesty is heavy, but it's empowering. Blaming others gives you victimhood. Taking responsibility gives you control. She prioritizes lessons over excuses, growth over victim stories. She doesn't need a villain to explain her pain. She's brave enough to face the truth, adjust her approach, and build a better future. And that's the mark of true inner strength. 8. She doesn't need to be the center of attention. Most people feel an unspoken pressure to stand out in every room. They overtalk, overperform, and exaggerate their stories to prove their worth, driven by the fear of being overlooked or forgotten. Constant attention equals value in their minds. A spicy Lady Sigma is completely free of this insecurity. She doesn't need to be the most interesting, loudest, or most entertaining person in the room to feel worthy. She prefers to observe first, listen deeply, and read the room before speaking. She only contributes when she has something meaningful, thoughtful, and valuable to add. She never talks just to fill silence or keep eyes on herself. This is not detachment or social anxiety. It's intentional presence. She knows value is never measured by how much you speak. It's measured by how much you understand. Her energy is calm, steady, and unforced. She doesn't perform intelligence, humor, or status for others. She exists authentically, without the pressure to impress anyone. Over time, people are drawn to her unique energy. She stands out not because she tries to, but because she doesn't need to. Her quiet confidence, observational wisdom, and grounded presence are far more magnetic than any performative attention grab. 9. She can change her mind without feeling weak. Many people trap themselves in outdated beliefs and bad decisions purely to protect their pride. They refuse to admit they were wrong, refuse to adapt, and refuse to grow, even when new evidence proves them wrong. They see changing their mind as a sign of instability or weakness. A spicy Lady Sigma knows better. She views adaptability as strength, not flaw. She understands that growth requires change, and being right yesterday doesn't mean you can't learn and evolve today. That if she pursues a career, relationship, or belief that no longer aligns with her goals, values, or growth, she adjusts without shame. She never forces herself to stay committed to outdated choices just to avoid embarrassment. She reevaluates her opinions based on truth, not ego. If she misjudges a person or situation, she corrects her perspective openly and calmly. She prioritizes reality over being consistent. This mindset keeps her open, teachable, and wise. She listens better, observes sharper, and makes far fewer repeated mistakes than people trapped by their own pride. True strength is not being perfect or never wrong. True strength is being willing to correct your course, evolve your mindset, and leave old mistakes and beliefs behind. Point 10. She stays calm during uncertainty. Anyone can be confident when life is predictable. When plans work out, bills are stable, and the future is clear, confidence is easy. The true test of character is how you respond when life falls apart, when plans fail, and when the future is completely uncertain. Most people panic without guarantees. They refuse to move forward without absolute proof of success, freezing up at the first sign of chaos or change. But life is inherently uncertain. Guarantees never truly exist. A spicy Lady Sigma accepts this fundamental truth. She doesn't waste energy trying to control every unknown variable. Instead, she focuses entirely on what she can control and adapts gracefully to what she cannot. When starting a new chapter, taking a risk, or facing unexpected change, she doesn't freeze in fear. She takes the next logical step, learns as she goes, and trusts her ability to adapt. During chaotic, unstable seasons, she remains clear-headed and calm. She adjusts her plans instead of spiraling into panic. This creates unmatched resilience. While others crumble under uncertainty, she thrives in it. She knows all growth, success, and transformation happen in the unknown spaces of life. Her confidence never comes from a perfect future. It comes from unshakable trust in herself to handle anything life throws her way. Final words character is what remains when there is nothing left to perform. The spicy Lady Sigma mindset is not a label, a trend, or a fake personality. It is a way of living rooted in truth, discipline, and self-awareness. These traits cannot be faked or copied because they are built over time through private, unrecognized choices. Anyone can mimic Sigma behavior for a week, but only consistent, intentional people can uphold these standards for a lifetime. This energy is not about being cold, distant, or antisocial. It's about being fully aligned with yourself. Her life moves by internal principles, not external praise, pressure, or reaction. Real strength is quiet, steady, and unperformative. It's built in the dark and revealed naturally over time. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.